everyone. Welcome to our intro and orientation video for Dynamics 365 Business Central. In this video, we'll give you some look and feel of BC as well as some of the role-based security that's inherent within the product. I'm logged into Business Central right now as Alan Steiner. He is the corporate controller for Kronos USA. And the first thing that I want to point out is that Business Central has a single sign-on experience with all of your other Office 365 apps. So even though I'm logged into Business Central here as my corporate email, if I click the waffle button up here in the upper left-hand corner, I can see all of my other applications that I have licenses to. So this is one of the benefits of Business Central sitting on top of the Office 365 stack. Now, Alan is choosing to access Business Central from Microsoft Edge, but he could use it with the browser of his choice, whether it's Firefox, Chrome, Safari, or even one of the apps that's in the iOS store or the Google Play Store. When Alan first logs into Business Central, he'll be taken directly to his homepage, which is called his Role Center. Every user inside Business Central has a specific role that's assigned either by the administrator or is assigned by the user himself if you give access. So you can see if I look at my settings for Alan S here, the role that he has selected is the business manager, which is a role that kind of overarches both payables, receivables, sales order, inventory, gives kind of a large look at the entire organization. So based on that role that's selected, at the very top of Business Central, I'm going to see the company that I'm logged in as, and then I'm going to see some top-level navigation that give me common functions by series. The finance series is going to include general ledger information, some budget information, currencies, statistics, and financial reporting. Whereas the sales module will give you information regarding customers, transactions such as sales invoices, credit memos, and so forth. So that Role Center homepage, or that Role Center of Business Manager that's assigned to Alan, will control this top-level navigation. In addition to the top-down navigation in the Role Center, Alan can also choose to bookmark common windows, pages, and reports along the top of his navigation, and we'll show that in a little bit. Going down the Role Center, you'll also have quick actions. If Alan needs to very quickly create a sales quote or a purchase invoice or create a new payment to a vendor, those can quickly be configured here on the actions. If I scroll down in the activities, we have activity queues, which show common metrics from sales and receivables, such as overdue sales invoice amounts, overdue purchase invoice amounts, and current sales to month. All of these are clickable, so you can very quickly see the details that make up these balances. So for overdue purchase invoices, if I click on that value there, I'll quickly be taken to the overdue purchase invoice list, which shows all of the invoices by vendor that are overdue. And anytime that you see the color red inside Business Central on a customer ledger or a vendor ledger, basically what that's saying is that this document is overdue, meaning that the due date is in the past based on the current work date. If I click back, I'll quickly go back to my Role Center homepage. So I have that both on the purchasing side as well as the sales side. If I go down a little further, I'm going to see these tiles which show me current documents based on the different series. So I can very quickly get a heads-up display on how many current sales quotes or outstanding sales quotes do I have, sales orders, sales invoices, and of course these are clickable. I can quickly go into the list of sales invoices here to see all of the information related to them. Of course, I have the same thing on the purchasing side. So the difference between the activity queues up here, they're going to show you KPIs or values that you may interact with in order to trigger some business function, such as a collection process or a check or cutting a check. Down below, these are going to be common transactions that are outstanding that have yet to be posted. If I scroll down a little bit further, we have a full contact management system inside Business Central, so I can see email activity as well. So I can see emails that I've sent or that the organization has sent in the last 30 days, such as statements that were sent to customers or orders or invoices that were sent to customers or even shipping notifications. I can quickly see who received what across the organization if I have access. as well as my own draft emails and any emails that may have failed because email addresses are missing or so forth. The workflow engine inside Business Central is quite extensive as well. So I can have workflow on new customers, maybe customers that are over their credit limit, maybe purchasing invoices need to be approved in a hierarchical manner. This approvals box right here is going to show me all my requests that I've sent out for approval that have yet to be approved, as well as any requests that have been routed to me for approval. So I can quickly see that those transaction counts right here under the approval process. I'm going to scroll down into the business insights here and the performance. There's more of the same here regarding our tiles and our activity counts. But we have a full integration with Power BI inside Business Central. You can see I've got business performance for my top 5 customers. I can also favorite general ledger accounts inside Business Central, so I can see a very quick trial balance on my home page here. And of course, I can have trial balance information from my financial reports show up if I am a controller type or a CFO type. I could see a very condensed income statement, and I can control what periods show within that income statement just on my homepage. Again, all controlled by the role that's assigned to the user, as well as the security permissions for that user as well. Lastly, I have a report inbox that I can use if I have reports that run inside the system and I want them to be delivered to me at certain times of the day. This inbox will show all those reports that are delivered. One of the strongest navigational elements of Business Central is the contextual search. If I look up here in my navigation bar at the very top, I have a search icon, and I can type in keywords here in order to see common pages, reports, and documentation related to my term. So if I type in the word item, implying inventory item, you can see on my current Role Center homepage, what it's going to do is show me on the current page you're on, give me links to everything that has anything to do with an item. So obviously items are inherent to sales quotes, orders, and invoices, so I can very quickly create one of those documents. If I'm looking throughout the system for pages and tasks, you'll notice that it's returned 28 different pages that contain the item keyword. So the inventory item card, item charges for landed cost, item tracing for lot and serialization tracing, item journals for miscellaneous transactions, and so forth and so on. So for new users or even existing users that are expanding out to different modules, this contextual search is extremely beneficial. Underneath reports and analysis, I can also see all of the different out-of-the-box reports inside Business Central that relate to the keyword of item. So such as item sales statistics, item register values, certain item price lists, and so forth. So for users that are looking for an out-of-the-box report to meet some sort of business function, this is a really good way to quickly navigate throughout the system for different reports that are available. I can also look for documentation. Microsoft Docs Online has a significant number of resources available. And if you click on any of the links that are over here, it will take you to docs.microsoft.com, where I can see the entire catalog of documentation that relates to Business Central. This is free to all Business Central users. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to put it on your server or anything like that. But this is updated by Microsoft resources as well as the MVP community of consultants and VARs. They keep this updated quite frequently. I discussed our bookmarks earlier. So using the search context up here for item, you'll notice that whenever I hover over a particular item, whether it's a page or a report, I also get this little bookmark icon over here on the right. So you can see items is already bookmarked, but if I have to do lot tracing or serial tracing quite commonly, what I'll do is I'll bookmark that, and you'll see that makes it gray. And then along the top of my navigation, I'll now see my item tracing window that I can quickly jump to put in serial numbers or lot numbers and see all the activity for those transactions. So we've talked a lot about the Role Center homepage and general navigation. However, I want to show you a common page that's across the entire system that you'll use quite a bit, and those are called list pages. So let's go to one of the most important lists, which is sales orders. This is revenue not yet earned, so it's probably the most important. So from the previous section, I showed you how you could click on sales orders to get to a list of sales orders. And if you look at this page type, this is what's called a list view. I have the data that's contained within the list, which is one line per sales order. I'm seeing all of the customers. And then I have a sub-menu of functions on this list as well. I can search for particular information. If I'm looking for A Datum Corporation, which is one of my customers, I can quickly type in A Datum here and see only those orders. If I X out, I'll show all of the orders. And then I get a lot of high level, or I should say header information related to that transaction for the list. So I can see, has it been completely shipped? What is the status? If it's been partially shipped, what's the dollar amount that's been shipped? What's the total amount for the order itself? And then probably most importantly, every single list view also has a fact box set over here on the right. And this fact box set gives you a contextual look at all of the related information for this transaction. So if I'm looking at this particular order here for A Datum Corporation, okay, and this is order 1001, in my fact box set, I can see all of my customer level information. So how many outstanding orders do they have? How many has been shipped but not yet invoiced? Outstanding invoices. I can see payments historically that have come in. When's the last payment that was received from this customer? And I can also see their credit limit calculation as well. So what's their current credit limit, and then what's their calculation against that credit limit. Down below, I can also see information related specifically to the customer as well. So that's on the fact box details, but then I also have attachments on all of my transactions and all of my master records that are represented in lists. So if I have particular documents like contracts in place for either the customer or the sales order, I'm going to see those document attachments here and be able to access them, as well as any general notes from myself or any other users within the system. In addition to my fact box set over here on the right, I also have a filter icon, which I can use in order to filter by any of the fields that are on the related transaction. So you can see over here on the left, I have a complete list of all my fields related to the sales order or from the related customer. So if I want to filter based on a particular location code for inventory, or I want to filter based on a specific customer type, I can certainly do that and filter my list down based on those fields. In addition, if I have filters that are workflow related, such as I want to see partial shipments or I want to see orders that are ready to invoice, then you can set up those filters and make them workflow related, such as orders ready to invoice would actually be completely shipped. The completely shipped flag would be equal to yes. So you can set up these custom filters and then save them for reuse, and then obviously other users can also do the same. Lastly, lists are extremely important because you can select multiple records and do batch functioning. So if I had several transactions that I wanted to post, I can go ahead and select multiple transactions like I have to go ahead and post that batch, or to go ahead and send invoicing as well. So post batch or post and send would send the actual invoices to the customer. Everything in the submenu up here will react based on what you have selected down here at the bottom. One of the key features of sales order is the sales order status. So our status for these sales orders is open. However, changing these to released would essentially pass the baton off to the warehouse to where they would generate either pick and pack transactions and go ahead and do the shipping for these sales orders. So not only can I post in batches, but I can also release orders in batches using the submenu and the selection criteria on the list page. The next page type I'd like to show you is what's called a document page. And document pages are common across the system. These can be sales orders, purchase invoices, sales invoices, purchase orders, purchase invoices, many different types, but they all follow the same construct. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my sales order list. And then from my list page, I'm going to go ahead and click on my first sales order that we were looking at a moment ago. And this is going to pull up the main page for the sales order. And what you'll notice is I have that same familiar submenu at the top, which gives me the functions related to this particular sales order, such as releasing or posting individually. But Below, you'll also see that this is organized into different fast tabs. So you can see each fast tab has a header, such as the general header, and then I have this area over here to show more. So I can have a compressed view of the fields in the general fast tab, or I can see all fields related to the general fast tab. So there's a lot of information related to a sales order, such as the salesperson, who it's assigned to, if there's a particular responsibility center, like a location that it needs to be bound to. You have all kinds of stuff, including dates, that's up in the general fast tab. However, you may, for quick data entry purposes, you may only want to show certain fields in the compressed version of the general fast tab. If I scroll down a bit, I will get a scrolling area where I can add items and item charges and so forth to my sales order. And then below, I'll have additional fast tabs for shipping related information or particular invoice details such as payment terms and due dates, and as well as financial dimensions that are coded to this transaction. So all of that data is scrollable top to bottom, organized by what are called these different fast tabs. In addition, I have my familiar fact box set over here on the right that can be turned on and off by clicking on this I button up here in the upper right on the same level as the navigation. So if I look, it's contextual based on where I'm at, so I can see how many ongoing sales orders, quotes, and invoices for this customer are out there. That way I can prevent duplication. I can also get a really good heads-up display if I have the customer on the phone. I can see exactly what's going on with their account. If I scroll down, I'm going to get a lot of the same information related to the customer that I had from my sales order list just a moment ago. Now, since there's context of this sales order at the line item as well, my fact box set is also going to show me, if I click on this line item for the Atlanta whiteboard, which is one of the products I'm selling, I'm also going to see information here related to that line item, such as what is its projected availability and what's currently in stock for this item at the location I have specified. Also with my fact box set, again, I have my attachments. So if I want to set up particular attachments, or I want to put a copy of the order confirmation directly as an attachment on this document, I can very quickly do that, and I'll see a running total of all the attachments that relate to this sales order. We'd like to thank you for watching our overview and orientation video. We have several videos in our catalog. We urge you to move on and watch the other functional specific videos in our demo series. Once again, thank you for choosing ACE.